Well, this is a pleasant surprise. A nice early Christmas bonus. And a generous one at that. Oh, certainly we'll be sending some of this back to the farm. The governor certainly treats us well. I admit I've not always agreed with some of his methods, but the prison has improved a lot under his time here. And he has put trust in me, so I should return it. Still, I can't help but find this new matter a little odd. A female prisoner coming here? Well, just ain't how things are done. And all this secrecy. I know I should not think above my station, but something just feels wrong here. I don't know why. I suppose I best put it out of my mind. I'm sure everything will be fine. This is Red Moon Role-Playing. You did just say her, right? A woman? In this prison?
Yes, indeed, in this prison. I believe it is part of why she's been sent here. This is not where one would expect to find her.
Alright, so a woman and dangerous, you say? I mean, is it...
Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Lethal.
Oh, dangerous for us?
Yes.
Oh.
For all of us. For all of us. Best stay away. We just need to get her locked down, and then we need to keep her alive, but not much more than that. But that is something that we are good at. Yes, we can keep them secure, and well, we need to make sure that this one stays alive. Yes, he says with a wry smile.
But how many men would you like us to bring then?
Just the four of you. We need to keep this quiet. That's the most important thing. There's so many rumors here. Yes, and information is worth quite a bit of money. So, yes, just the four of us and myself. I will be there personally.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Fine with me. What do you say, Brown?
Of course, sir. At the end of the day, I'll do whatever you tell me. And I smile and nod, although a little part of me is a little troubled. This suddenly seems very strange to me, stranger than normal. I'm not entirely sure how I would handle a woman inmate. I've never had to before.
That's right. What would you have to do if she tried to escape? And yes, it is a different time when it comes to laying hands on a woman one does not know, right? So you would like to remain a gentleman, I'm sure. Why don't you take the bottle with you, the brandy? It can keep you nice and warm during the last night before Christmas. But nothing more before we take care of our little meeting this midnight. Yes, you can have it afterwards.
Oh yeah, we'll save it. And won't we now, Dorsley?
Dorsley just he nods and yes, sir. We will do exactly as you ask. Well then, lads. He gets up. We know what we got to do. So let's get that grub, shall we? And then make sure that the prison is running as it should. Yes, we do have work to do.
Finishing off the conversation there, I take a last slurp of drink from my glass. I put it down, pocket the envelope in my nicely now warm uniform because it's new and dry and toasty. And I take the bottle of brandy, which actually turns out to be a nice bottle of Camus and Company, the French brandy maker. Quite nice. Heard it's delivered to the size. And I have to stifle a cough, and I reach it over to Taylor as we go out.
Wow, this is expensive stuff. Only the best. Wow, he's really spoiling us.
Yeah, he must be making a fortune now. Oh, that's good. I don't mind, and I pat the pocket where I have the envelope. And I say, well, that kind of cleared up my throat as well, it feels like.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Well, let's go get that grub now, shall we?
And do you know what? You're coming to the game tonight, Taylor? Taylor the Sailor?
Oh! Yeah, I have been called that before. He looks at you, and yes, it is kind of his nickname, isn't it? Of course, I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm definitely gonna get your money, though. You best not put all of that on the line, because then I'm gonna get it.
It'd be too tempting to try and rob you out of it. But yeah, all right. We'll start with the maybe a third of it.
He laughs, and you reach the dining halls that are conveniently close to the death row cells. And some of the trusted prisoners are serving you food. Rick is starting to read a newspaper as you have gotten a bit into the food. You see stories about the Jibu War and the colonial troops that are pushing into the Nigerian interior. Still parts of Africa that are left up for grabs, it seems. You just have to get there before the French do, before the brandy makers do. You spent some time in the colonies, yeah?
Yeah.
What about you, Brown? Did you ever want to go to the colonies?
Oh, I don't want to go to the colonies. I scoff at both of them. Nothing out there but bugs and heat. And, nah. You give me good old England. That's all a man needs in life. Maybe occasionally I'll go home and have a holiday.
There is a point about letting the soak and the wet come from the outside rather than in the inside. You know, you're just sweating through everything stinks. Lots more disease, dead animals lying about, just smelling up the place.
Also, you lot read those papers way too much. Now this is what you want to read, and I pull out my copy of Strand magazine that I have delivered to me, one of my few luxuries. And I point at it and go, now, you lot, you should read more of this. This is better stuff. Look here. And I show a little article to Connor. Now, this one's a good one. He's this guy called Sherlock Holmes. You read these ones yet? They're pretty good. Started producing them last year. It's good stuff.
Well, what is it like? This is some sort of... And I look at it. Oh.
It's good. He's like us, yeah? Although maybe a bit hands-on and cleverer. And he goes and he catches the people and he puts them in the prison. But they're always really like clever sorts, you know what I mean? You never quite know where it's going. There's a new story every month in these papers. It's good stuff.
I look just briefly at it, but I continue eating. And yeah, I don't really take the magazine to look at it.
Taylor looks at you, O'Connor. You said you were in India, yeah?
Yeah, I was in India.
I almost ended up in the colonies myself. I spent a good bunch of years on the sea. Saw plenty of harbor during that time. The world took my knees and I got, well, I suppose I got to see the world. Some of it anyway. It's so hot, isn't it? So hot and unwelcoming.
Yeah, but you know, the people are really nice, you know. I don't know if you got to know anyone, but...
Some of them are, but so many of the ones I met, fake smiles on men who fear for their lives or are trying their hardest to screw over their fellows to get in our favor. The whole thing is disgusting, really. But hey, it's the burden of us white men to bury us. Bring the light of civilization, God, and culture to the savages.
Taylor, you do what you want. Me, I'm happy here, eating my dinner, reading my magazine. Let's have enough of the gloom and doom talk, eh? And I start digging into my food and putting my head first in my Strand magazine.
As you do that, I shrug and I don't know, there's a point to what he says, you know, spreading civilization, helping them, you know, being under the crown. It's a good thing what we do.
God's work, that is, yes. God's work, Taylor says, yeah. They will thank us for it. They will thank us for it. Mark my words. Eventually, they will thank us for it.
I scoff a little and shake my head. I don't say this aloud, but internally, I actually think it's a complete waste of time. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what lands they come from. I don't care. Let them have whatever they want to have, and let us have what's good.
You know, some of these people don't even know what God to pray to, you know. Some of them have just one strange name for it. Others have, like, I don't know, 10 different gods, something like that. I don't know. I didn't read too much about it, but they're really confused, you know.
Yes, they haven't seen the truth yet, but we will make them see. And yes, civilization, light, all those good things. But it is our burden to bear. Well, we have our burdens to bear here in the prison, yes. So I'll just head to the office for a bit, boys. I'll see you a bit later. And Taylor says, and he starts to leave the table.
Yeah. Don't open that bottle for yourself, will you?
He sort of salutes to you and heads off to in the direction of the offices.
As Taylor leaves, I'll lean over to O'Connor. Still reading my magazine, I make it sound quite casual, but I remark very quietly. Not that I want to ask questions, but don't you think it's a little fishy, though, all this? I mean, a woman. What do we do? I've never really had to deal with a woman in women prisons. Why can't you go to a woman's prison?
Yeah, it's a bit weird, that one. I think, it's because the governor has a real good standing now with a lot of good people. So if this is some sort of, I don't know, he says high up kind of thing. I don't know, some sort of political thing. But the thing I don't get, is like, what is someone that would be some sort of politician be really dangerous? I mean, I get the idea that it's dangerous if the wrong people get to know, but how could someone, in those circles be like a killer? I don't know.
Well, that might be it. You should listen to what my mum used to say. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Yeah? For all we know, maybe she had a husband or something, or a kid. Maybe someone harmed them or something, and she lost it. Got a kitchen knife, slashed a guy all up. You never know. I've heard of it happening. So maybe we should be on guard, but I don't know. It's all a bit weird to me.
Yeah, and I mutter a bit sourly as I eat my food, and I say, oh, well, if she tries to hit me with her scorn, I'll hit her with my truncheon. That's how it goes. Straight in the face.
I nod at this, but I do frown because internally I do actually feel a little uncomfortable with that, funnily enough.
Just break her nose nice and good.
Well, now I talk up. Maybe don't go crazy unless you're actually in danger, Connor. What's the point?
Yeah, well, that's what he says, Ryan. It's dangerous. She's dangerous. Oh, this is the prisoner. That's all we know. I don't care. We're still going to have a game, right? It's not until midnight. We can have our little game.
Yeah.
Have a nice time. Maybe have some more of that brandy. And we'll go there.
I nod eagerly to this, and my mood seems better. But internally, I'm not quite my usual self. I try and shake it off. I get back into the food, my magazine, and continue the dinner.
Yes, and you finish the meal, and yes, there's plenty of time left until midnight. You still have some work to do during the afternoon, and then there is the evening and the big card game. How does that go? How do you fare during the card game, you think?
I have to admit, after my loss last time, I'm going to play it safe tonight. I'm not going to really put myself out. I'm actually planning to send just a little bit of that bonus back home to the farm, I did tell my ma I'd send a little bit back every now and then. After all, got to help the family out. So I will probably play quite safe. If it looks like I'm going to lose, I'm probably just going to fold early.
What about you, O'Connor?
Whereas I'm going to probably try and go quite hard at it. And I like Brown, I might be a bit worried about tonight as well. And also, like, all that sleep feels like it's kind of gotten into my bones, despite my toasty clothes. It doesn't really feel right, so I might just, go a bit harder at the bottle than I intended and have a little bit extra just to warm myself up from the inside. And this is going to be really dangerous, might as well enjoy what comes before. Get a bit relaxed. It's better, I think. Just one person after all.
The card game goes all right. You do not take too big risks. You do indulge in the drink, but you come out slightly ahead after the night's game. Both able to leave that room feeling like winners, which is not something one can say for every night. But now it's midnight, and Dorsley and Taylor have joined you outside of the game room. You can smell the brandy on their breaths as well, and it's about time, yes?
Yep. suppose we time to head down to the basement, the lower floors. Have you been down there since they refurbished it?
I don't reckon I have, no. Not really any reason to go down there when there's no one there, is there?
No? Be kinda, I don't know, kinda curious to see what they've done with the place, especially if it was someone important coming there.
Hey, Dorsley, you know how, our friend's even coming in? Like, who's bringing her in? Has she already been brought in? Is it like a carriage, little armed retinue or something?
You tell me. I expect that it's something like that, though. We've just been told to make it to the room. I suppose he doesn't want to tell us more about how this will actually happen. So let's just do what he tells us to. Yes, he knows what should be done. So I trust him.
Sounds fair enough. And I sort of suit myself up. I'm not really in the mood now. I'm tired. I'd rather just go to bed. But here we are. Let's do this.
Yes, and you start moving through the prison towards the this special isolation cell. You know that it's in the old basement, so you will actually need to make it through the new basement area first. That's the one that has the isolation cells where you send Barnes. It's damp and drafty down here. Close to the stairs when you get down is the guard room where the guards that are overseeing the isolation cells are spending their time. That little room is heated by a small coal heater with a rickety table and 3 chairs as the only furniture. You see that one of the guards has fallen asleep and is slumped over the table. There are no other guards around. Dorsley nods to let him sleep. Governor wanted to keep this quiet, so we need to wake him up later, but for right now, this is probably for the best.
I had just started bringing up my truncheon to knock his chair, but I'll let it slide back down. Right, John, that's good. Good thinking, Dorsley.
On the other side of the guard room, you see the laundry room where on Tuesdays and Thursdays, a few of the trusted prisoners are washing the prison uniforms. Now it's empty, but you smell the thick smell of laundry detergent. Your uniforms are, of course, handled elsewhere, so as to not get stolen. That would be potentially very bad. And moving past that, you get to the new isolation cells. Or, well, they aren't really isolation cells anymore. There's 8 prisoners in each one of these now, sitting on the straw-covered stone floor. You hear coughing and wheezing and sniveling. Staying here in this cold means you get sick very quickly. It's quite common to find dead bodies here. The ones that are alive are usually quite feverish. You see Barnes sitting on the floor in one of these cells. He looks to you and then he looks away.
I don't pay too much heed to any of them. In fact, if anything, I try and keep some distance. I definitely don't want to catch something at this time of year off this lot.
And the ones that are put here, these are the worst ones, right? The ones in need of serious correction. They deserve being here, right?
Yeah, they do. And I mean, even the worst troublemakers, even the killers, you know, they kind of, I feel, to be honest, they should be grateful that they're brought to our prison, because we have a nice system. We can reward those that behave. You know, it doesn't come, you know, doesn't have to be all bad. But if you're going to be a troublemaker, it's going to just cause trouble for yourself. That's what I feel, if I'm honest. And as I see Barnes there, I smirk at him, and I say, better keep on your feet, Barnes. I hear it's not very good to sit down on a cold floor.
You see him look to you, and then he gets up on his 2 feet, and you see him sniveling. Thanks, he says.
And I just move along, sort of keeping my scarf a little bit near my mouth to just not inhale too much of the air around here. People coughing and all that. And I feel in my chest burning nicely from the brandy, and my head is a little bit... I just feel it swiveling about up there a bit, like some nice golden liquid keeping me straight.
After passing by the isolation cells, you come into the old basement. It has earthen walls and looks much like it must have looked when the prison was built back in the 1820s. There's a storage room for the kitchen here, and there's also the extreme corrections room. Well, it's a torture chamber. It's a room filled with, the tools one would need. Have either of you done any torturing? O'Connor, you had done some drowning, you say. What about Brown?
To be honest, I actually haven't. It's not that I don't have the stomach for it. It's just not something I'm really keen to do. And at this stage, I've always had someone else do it for me. Or those better, like Connor, for example. I tend to prefer to just get my way with a smile and a nod and a little bit of contraband. I prefer that method myself.
Right, yes. As you were able to order others to do it. That's a good way to get out of doing that. You pass by this extreme corrections room, and finally you find the stairs that lead down to the corridor that leads to the old storage room, the one that's been turned into this special isolation cell. Dorsley takes the lead, and he has a lantern with him to illuminate. You see that the corridor is low and narrow, and you actually have to hunch over to get through it. Rats scamper off as your light illuminates the earthen walls. It's a bit far, actually. It's must probably be a little bit away from the prison. And then, right in front of you is the door. It's an old, thick iron door. Dorsley knocks on the door. Well, he pounds it more like. And the door is quickly opened. The governor stands before you. The room behind him is very, very dark. Yes, good. You're here on time. He looks like he did earlier, but he's clearly excited about something. There's a fire in his eyes that is unmistakable. There's unlit half-pound candles that you see having been placed around the room. Here, he says, and he starts handing you each something. You hear the clanging rattle of metal as he hands each of you a chain. Hold these and stand by the sides of the room, will you? He says. You see Dorsley and Taylor doing that. Yeah, yes, sir, they say as well.
It's at this point, as I take the chain and I do as I'm told, I can't help but be a little curious. I'd like to read the governor, read a person at this stage. Would that be all right?
That would be all right.
That would be a 7. So, as I look at the governor, perhaps I'm not very subtle about it, but my intention is, I'm just curious why he seems so in such an excited, good mood. It seems strange to me.
You sort of make that known. He sort of seems to pick up on that immediately. Oh, don't worry, Brown. Everything is fine. You have nothing to worry about. There's 4 of you, and just take this chain, he says, and he hands it to you. And you feel that the chain is oily. When the prisoner arrives, I'm going to need you to be ready to lock her down. All right? Can you do that?
Of course, sir. Of course.
Yeah, that's stellar. Take your places. We now begin. He's a bit rushed. Yeah, he's not really allowing you to butt in with your question there. I'm gonna need to put on a bit of a show for this. Don't worry, it's all as it should be. I'll explain it later. It's complicated, you see. And he begins lighting the candles. And you begin to see markings on the floor. Something has been drawn there in red, a circle and a triangle. Looks like he's gotten red paint all over his hands, you can see, still dripping. Or is that paint? It must be paint. What else could it be? You can hear a metallic sound coming from somewhere beyond the door in the narrow corridor where you came from. What is that?
I rub my fingers, feeling the oil sort of getting stuck to them, feel a bit sticky. And listen up at this metallic sound, yeah.
You listen for that sound, and you turn your attention towards where it's coming from the door, and then it sort of stops, and when you look back, you see the governor standing in the circle. He's holding a black book. You can see it now illuminated from these candles around him. He's reading aloud. Ol binu od sodakame, ilasa gabe tauros. As he says that, the candles at the circle's edge goes out, as though extinguished by a sudden wind. Zodiredo adni das larinuji elasa. He opens his eyes, and he looks to you. Ready, men? She's coming now. Put the chains around her when you see her. And you hear the banging coming from the corridor again. Dorsley is looking towards the door.
Yeah, I'm tightening my grip around the chains and getting ready to do something. Wrap them around someone, I suppose.
I do likewise, but my gut feels off. I've got a very high intuition, I always have. Always known when things are going to go a bit south. I actually had a feeling like this just before all the troubles in the summer. Something ain't right. What on earth is the governor doing? He's reading some sort of book. What is he, some sort of Christian thing? It doesn't seem like any Christian thing I've ever seen. But I kind of keep this all to myself.
This must be some kind of black magic, some kind of witchcraft, something like that. But, well, he must have a reason for what he's doing. You hear a thud, and when you look, you see that a shape has appeared in the triangle. It's like a crouching animal of some kind. It whimpers. No, it's not. It's not an animal. Where did it come from? Catch her! Seymour barks at you. You see as Dorsley and Taylor, they start to move towards the shape with their chains. What do you do?
I'm confused. I thought someone would come through the door, but I need to focus. To try to focus from being a bit intoxicated. Just okay. I'll start moving forward as well with my chain on the ready to whatever. What's that? Latin? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to catch it.
I pause for a moment. I don't understand how that's possible. How is someone on the floor? They didn't come in through the door. This isn't... I kind of try and snap out of it and I guess join in the others, but I've definitely delayed a little.
Yes, you are a little bit delayed, but you two find yourself sort of moving forward, and you feel the chains, they're sort of coming alive in your hands. They're like metal snakes, and they envelop the shape as you are coming close to it. This woman you can see now, yes, an old woman in rags, a wrinkled and broken hag. They wind themselves around her and bind her to the floor very, very quickly. She whimpers again, and it sort of squeezes her, and you see how she seems to lose consciousness. And the chains, they start to meld with her and with the ground, welding her stuck. She makes a move with her hands. She must not have passed out completely, as if she's trying to reach for something, and drops whatever it is. You recognize what it is because you have just been playing with something like that. It's a deck of cards. They spill out all over the floor. Lightning fast, Seymour immediately moves to pick them up. And these are for me. Well done, men. You have done well. She's firmly locked down here.
The million thoughts that were flooding through my head as the chains came alive and just getting out of my hands and wrapping her up. It's like...
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
No.
I must have been... Am I dreaming? Did that just happen? No, it can't have happened.
Was it the drink, maybe?
It must have been a drink.
Were you that drunk? Maybe it's some strange French, very strong alcohol of some kind, yeah.
No, what happened was probably we just wrapped her. It just felt very strange. We wrapped her. That was what happened. We went over and we wrapped her. It just felt very strange.
Yeah, and it's dark in here anyways. It's difficult to see. Come, let us go. And you see sort of joy and glee in his eyes as the fire from the lantern is reflected in his eyes. He's sort of leading you out and being very successful at doing that, sort of pushing you ahead of him, seemingly wanting to close the door behind him. Very dangerous. You remember? I said that. Yes, we must move out of here now.
And my mind wanders to the Christmas bonus, and I think about what I'm going to spend that on, and I'm trying to be somewhere completely different. It's going to be nice to go to bed now, I think. Yep. Yep.
That's right. That envelope feels nice and thick.
Yeah.
I think I know where one of the lads stashed a little bit of that bottle. I think I really would like a drink before I go to bed. Yeah, that would be good. One more drink before bed.
You really need that. This wasn't right, no. Your instincts are correct. This is not right, no. But maybe it was just, it couldn't have happened, right? No.
My hand idly moves up to my mouth, and I lick my fingers a bit, feeling that stickiness still on them.
Yes, it is oil.
Ooh, and I give a little shudder, having inadvertently reminded me of whatever that was, and I have this chill still what I felt before starting to drink and having the nice little game. It's as if the sleet is once again chilling my bones, and I feel a bit of a shiver as my hairs stand on edge.
Come see me in the morning, the governor says. I'm sure you still have a little bit of that brandy left. Yes, you didn't have time to drink it all, I hope. Have a nightcap and then come to my office in the morning. I'll actually have a reward for you. Yeah, another one. He says and smiles.
It sounds good, Governor. That wasn't so hard, was it?
Taylor laughs nervously.
What was that book you were reading? Was that some kind of sort of Bible thing?
Oh yes. It was of course the good book, he says, and he starts moving off, kind of hurried. He's touching this deck of cards you see, and he sort of disappears ahead of you, unless you want to chase him.
No, well, I'm not gonna do that. I was thinking to myself, my Latin is a bit rusty. Of course, I learned Latin at school, but yeah, I don't know. It's probably...
That was not Latin.
That was not Latin. I no. Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it, lads? Was a bit weird.
Yeah, I have no idea what that was or what happened there, Dorsley says, but, well, I trust the governor. He's been good to us.
He's a bit weird, because when we were moving up there, it felt like, I must have been so eager to get the job done that it almost felt like the chains were kind of moving by themselves.
Yeah, a strange feeling. Yeah, crazy. You see Taylor swallowing and looks worried and just, God damn, he says.
I say nothing. I just want to go back to my bunk and have a drink. I find myself thinking of the stories my mum used to tell me as a child all of a sudden. She used to tell me a story about the witch in the woods who would gobble up little boys and girls. She'd come and she'd grab you with her chains and drag you away to hell, but only if you were a bad little boy or little girl. I don't know why I'm thinking of that now. I feel a bit sick.
The story feels weirdly relevant now. Well, you start making your way back to your offices, and I suppose you drink and you sleep, yes? It's been a long day, and you are very, very tired now.
Yeah, just getting to bed is probably good. I was not very reassured by the response I got there, trying to talk about what just happened. Just didn't... Yeah, nope. Doesn't feel good, so I'm trying to keep my mind on other things. I'm trying to remember maybe a Bible passage, something like that. Just something that will keep my mind working for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good one from Matthew that you think of right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one. Yes. Yeah, the Lord. Yeah, he is the one who rules supreme, and whatever that was, it's nothing. No. The Lord will see to it that everything will be as it should be.
The Lord will see to it that everything will be as it should. Yes. And think of that and trying to doze off to sleep.
What about you, Brown? You drink? Do you also fall asleep, or do you do something
I
else?
hope I fall asleep. I take a very big drink, bigger than I should have. And I try and just forget this for now. Just try and forget it. Because I just don't feel good.
And the night comes to you. Dark. Uneventful. You're awoken by the ground shaking violently. Dust falls from the ceiling in your office, and the brandy glass that you had on your desk falls over, cracking on the floor. And it's cold. So very cold in here. It's not supposed to be cold here. You hear a commotion in the prison as must be the other guards and the prisoners are dealing with the same sensations. Panicked screams coming from somewhere. What do you do?
I reached out my hand to stop the shaking truncheon on my night table, my nightstand. To just stop the sound from it, as I've placed it there the night before, and like, what the hell? What's going on? And I sit up in bed.
And you see Dorsley opening the door to your office, and to your office as well, Brown. Have you woken up by this, or are you still sleeping?
I awaken to it, rubbing my head, which feels very sore now. I'm confused, but hearing cries of alarm, cries of panic. Where's my revolver? Where's the service revolver?
Well, all the firearms are in the arms locker. You're not supposed to be carrying that around. It's only truncheons normally, so it would be over there. But that's a good instinct. Go get it, because it sounds like there might be fighting breaking out there. It seems like the prisoners are panicking. All right, man. Let's go get the weapons. We have to get this situation under control. Dorsley says. And he sort of hurries to you to get up. He's still wearing his pajamas.
Yeah. I'm in my pajamas as well, but I grab my truncheon. There's no time to waste. As I start heading towards the arms locker, then it's like we don't have time to put on the uniform even, because this is sounds like an emergency to me. As we start moving, I say to Dorsley, "What's this? Some kind of earthquake?"
Earthquake. Yeah, it could be. Taylor says, yeah, I felt earthquakes during my travels. It must be that, yeah, an earthquake. But they don't happen here.
No, it happened when I was traveling as well. I had one in India. But this... Where's the governor?
I haven't seen him. Let's get the weapons, and you see how the guards are streaming, coming in from the barracks from the outside. You see prisoners are fighting in the cells, and you see some of the guards, the night guards they're ready, and they have armed themselves, and they're sort of handing out the Lee Metford rifles to you, giving you each of you a revolver. Guard captains, of course, should have that. Would you like a rifle as well?
I prefer a rifle myself because it's better to use in melee.
Yes, I'll also take a rifle, and at this point, as I'm being handed a gun by one of the guards, I will remark, trying to get myself together, I'm a bit sleepy still. Lad, Jenkins, right? Jenkins, what on earth is going on? What's the situation? Report.
We don't know, sir. We don't know. I just started shaking all of a sudden, and the prisoners are going crazy. We need to get this under control.
Well, yes, we do need to get it under control. So, you better start getting the boys ready and do as we tell you.
Yes. And he sort of panics at that, and he starts running towards the other guards and starts to hurry them on as well. And you see the guards are moving up to the bars of the cells, and some of them are like holding up their weapons. No one's firing or anything like that, but you see how the situation is starting to calm down, and the shaking has stopped now as well. and it becomes completely quiet. You're all just standing there, the guards pointing the weapons at the cells. Still a little bit of dust coming down from the ceiling, but other than that, complete quiet.
I stopped fumbling with the rifle, trying to hold on to both the rifle and revolver and everything, so I stopped fumbling with it. I look around, feeling the silence. I put down the rifle and just hold the truncheon in one hand and the revolver in another, still standing in my pajamas.
I look around nervously for a moment. I'm scanning the cells. I want to find... what was his name again? Bentley. Bentley's one of the ones who does as he's told. I want to find him, because I want to go over and quickly see if he would know what was going on.
Yeah, you find Bentley. He's in one of the nicer cells, yeah? It's only him and 2 other prisoners. He gets the special treatment. You see he is sat back down on his bed. He's drinking from a cup. Must be some kind of... it must be that whiskey you provided him with. He nods and smiles at you. Things under control, sir?
I hope so, Bentley. But why the hell, and I lower my voice, why the hell are all your buddies... what's going on? Why are you attacking each other in your cells? What's the bloody point of that? It's not going to get you out of the cell if there's like whatever's going on happening.
I wouldn't know. The boys must have just gotten scared. I suppose I've never felt anything like that in my entire life. An earthquake? Was that what it was?
It might have been, Bentley, but do me a favour. There'll be some more whiskey in it for you. Just pass around. Nobody panic, alright? We're here to protect you, yeah? Believe it or not.
He nods. We'll pass the word around. Definitely. You see the chaplain. He's standing by the exit, by the door to the outside. You saw him when you went to Bentley, and you see him still standing there. He's completely still. He's looking out, looking up towards something.
I move over to him and see what he's looking at. What's going on, Chaplain? What was that? What just happened?
Yeah, Chaplain Clive Wilson, he's standing there by the door, and he stares up towards a starless night sky. It's still dark. It's still dark. It should be light by now. It should at least have started to get bright. But nothing. It's like in the middle of the night.
I'm kind of lost for words there. Could it be... maybe something went wrong at the factory and smoke came out, and maybe that was the ground shaking, something breaking, I don't know.
You know what? That sounds reasonable. Yeah. That's a rational explanation to this. I agree. Thank you, O'Connor. I was afraid there for a minute. He sits down by the door and sort of rubs his forehead and his eyes a bit. Yeah, you're right.
It's a bit cold too, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't noticed. Yeah, it's dreadfully cold, isn't it? We have to put more firewood on the stove, so I gotta get it.
Yeah.
Gotta get the heat up, yeah? We can't get people sick.
I'll send someone. Wilkins, can you have a look and see that the fires are going as they should?
Yes, sir. He starts rushing off to do just that. It doesn't seem like there's anything wrong, though, from what you can see, but it is dreadfully cold, as if it's coming from the outside. It's much, much colder than it was last night. It doesn't get this cold around London. It's -20, maybe more. It's very cold.
As I breathe in and out, and I can see the mist form in front of my very face, I frown a little. I notice that, at least for the moment, things seem a bit calmer, and I start making my way to the governor's office. I pass Connor on the way and remark, I'm going to go check on the governor, see he's all right.
Yeah, Dorsley and Taylor, they hear you say that, and they get up as well and go and say, yes, we need to go check in with the governor. He needs to be made aware of the situation. We need to make sure that he's up to date. Good idea.
I hand over my other revolver to one of my boys to have them take it back to the arms locker. Might not need that anymore. Good to be rid of it, and just go along there in my pajamas and with a truncheon. Feel a bit uncomfortable, a bit silly now, walking around like this, but at least things have calmed down, I guess.
I, by the way, made sure to actually not maybe neatly dress in my uniform, but I did sling on my trousers and coat and hat. So at this, I will neaten myself up as I go to the office.
Yes, you fix yourselves up so that you're not just in your pajamas, but that you have your coat. You're close to your offices, so you can grab that at least, so you look somewhat respectable. But yes, you must update him quickly though. So you make your way over there, and you see Stuart, who's still standing guard by the door. He's looking visibly shaken. Yeah, you best speak to the governor. Let him know what's happened. But I'm guessing you don't know anything more than I do, right? It just started shaking, right?
Yeah, I had no idea. It's I don't know. I was just talking to Clive, and we said it's maybe something gone wrong at one of the factories.
Oh yeah, an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe some kind of big explosion or
Yeah.
some kind. Maybe it could be that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't know about the cold though. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, you're right. Well, he opens the door to the office, and then lets you in. And it's much like before. Smell of brandy and cigar smoke.
I walk straight in and loudly say, "Governor, sir, sorry to bother you, but we're here to report the situation." And I start looking around for the governor.
And you see the governor. He's sitting at his desk, smiles at you, and gets up. You wonder if he slept at all, because he's dressed exactly the same as he was before. Doesn't seem to have panicked or anything like that. He seems quite calm. There's a deck of cards spread out across the desk. You can't make out the details, but it looks a little bit like a tarot deck. The motifs are different, though. When he gets up, though, there's something different about him. He feels even taller now. Much taller than you. There's an air of authority about him now that there wasn't before. He looks at you with steely eyes, as if his confidence has grown 100-fold over the night. Well done, men. You performed admirably, just as I knew you would. And he brings you a new set of envelopes. More money, this time twice as thick as the ones you just received. Is this the bonus for the work that you did?
I swallow. Just that his presence is like almost a bit intimidating, just to get close enough to get the envelope. But I move over, of course, to get it, and I just feel it. I just push it between my fingers.
You, when you get close, yeah, it's this strange sensation, kind of like when you were a child looking up at an adult. So tall. But he was tall, but not, I don't know, the whole thing is strange. But you feel the money, and it's this is, you're rich. This will be your new monthly salary. Consider it a raise, he says. I've also, had a few boxes of brandy and cigars sent to your offices. You should celebrate. Prison will enter a new age now, with our VIP prisoner locked away. Westminster's seen fit to provide us with all we wish for. You will have the finest that life can offer here. We just need to keep her away from the world, away from them. And that's exactly what we will do. Yes, gentlemen.
Sir? Our monthly wage, sir?
Yes. Yeah, this every month. This, and if you do well, there is potential for further increments.
Well, look at the other captains. I feel like I'm definitely like dreaming, but I say like, I say, well, I suppose it might have some benefits staying around a bit.
I frown a little. I step forward. I do not take the envelope at this point. I clear my throat. I feel very nervous. He again suddenly seems so much taller. It's really good, sir. Thank you. But just perhaps we should focus a little on the situation right now. We've had some sort of incident. It's riled up all the prisoners. I think we've got them calmed down, but you don't seem very bothered by that, sir. Are you not concerned about what's going on?
No, Brown, I know that you have the situation well in hand. You are competent. That is why I made you captain. I trust that you will keep this little distraction from getting the prisoners all riled up. Everything will be back to normal very soon. I'm certain something must have gone wrong in the city. Yes, an accident of some kind, perhaps. We don't have earthquakes here. Yes, yeah, an accident.
That's what I was saying to Clive as well, sir. That something has happened. It's a bit. It's like it's dark, so maybe some soot has spread through the air. And I feel, is it as cold in here as the rest of the prison?
In here, it's nice and comfortable, and you feel the smell of the cigars and the brandy. This is a good place.
Well, maybe I was just not feeling that for real then, the cold before. Maybe it's just...
Yeah, maybe.
I was just unsettled by the sound and the darkness.
Shock.
Yeah,
shock. It must be shock. It must have been shock.
Yeah, probably that.
But you're over it now, so that's good.
Yeah.
I, having stepped forward closer to when I made my little speech, I look down, I look at these cards, and I just reach out to try and take one.
You reach out towards the cards. You see the governor looking at you. Oh, sorry, I've been trying to arrange those in order. You see, it's a bit of a project that I have. Would you mind not touching those? He says, and he looks at you with eyes that make you feel incredibly uncomfortable. All of a sudden, you feel like you shrink further in front of him, as if you're becoming smaller and smaller, and you're a small child being told by his mother not to touch the cookie jar.
I kind of pause, and I laugh a little nervously and go, I didn't know you were into cards, sir. Don't touch them. Why not? They're gonna... afraid I'm gonna get them grubby.
Something like that, Brown. Something like that. Well, you do have some things that need to be done, though. I have some new orders now as we move into this new age. Yes, now that we have the resources that we need to make this place more efficient. Is what we need to do. We need to process more prisoners here. We need to do our part for the Queen, for England. Yes. So, first order of business. I want all the furniture ripped out of the cells, and I want you to burn it in the yard. I want all the lights to be turned out in the prison. Aside from your quarters, of course. The guard quarters, no. You will have finer furniture brought in. Of course, the heat will be good. We'll make sure that you have the best food. The prisoners, though, their food rations, they need to be halved. Yes? We need to increase the speed of rehabilitation. And I find that men will do almost anything for food. It's time to take off the silk gloves, if you know what I mean. Really time to get to business. Can you get behind that, men? Dolsley speaks up immediately, just, sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Darken it, burn the furniture, and half food rations, sir.
You got it, O'Connor, you got it. Good man. Good memory on you, too. That will serve you well.
And I smile a bit, and I nervously pat the envelope, or press it a bit at the sides.
It's still nice and thick. Brown.
I don't take it, I say. It's all right, sir. I'll have mine later. Yes, understood, sir.
Very good. Then back to work, men. Back to work. And enjoy the cigars and the brandy, yes? It's the same one I gave you before. Only the best for my best people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I say. Twice, inadvertently, and I nod and I go out to start heading towards my office.
You start heading towards your office. And you see again now Clive Wilson down there. He's again standing by the door. And he sees you coming and he points towards you. Oh, Connor, come. I have to show you something.
Can you wait, Wilson? I just wanna...
No.
Right, I'm coming. And I start coming down the stairs.
I was going to be heading in the same direction, and I'll notice this. I think I would follow.
You would. And you find Wilson again by the door, and the sky has changed somewhat. There is some kind of light, or is there some kind of contrast, perhaps? Where the sun should be, there's a sphere of compact darkness that's bleeding darkness into the rest of the sky, the night sky being brighter than this. It seems to want to swallow the few lights that are still lit around the prison. And Wilson speaks to you and he says, "How's that possible? The sun, it should not be black. God save us all." You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Role-Playing, where we play the campaign Taroticum for Cult Divinity Lost. Taroticum was written by Gunilla Jonsson and Mikael Petersen in 1992, with additional material for the 2018 edition by Petter Nallo, Mattias Fredriksson, and Alex Obernig. Cult Divinity Lost is published by Helmgast. The music was made by Atrium Carceri, featuring collaborations with Apocryphus, Herbst 9, Kammerheit, City's Last Broadcast, God Body Disconnect, and Eldar, and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. You can find more delicious dark ambient at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel. Finally, a big thank you to, well, you, for making this campaign possible. It would not be possible without your generous support on Patreon. You give us so much energy, help us cover our costs, and open up time to record and edit. And remember, death is only the beginning.